the Dominion machines now in Georgia, a court case there saying, no, it is not a conspiracy theory to have questions about these machines. We're going to start talking about these machines, and we're going to proceed with a case looking into these machines in discovery, right? So the machines themselves here, let me just find the thing here. Yeah, so Tom Fitton gives us an update on this case. He says, a federal court in Northern District of Georgia will allow plaintiffs to proceed to trial after they presented expert evidence and which found 7 core vulnerabilities in the Dominion voting system. Attackers can alter the QR codes on printed ballots to modify voter selections. 2, anyone with brief physical access to the ballot marking device machines can install malware onto the machines. 3, attackers can forge or manipulate the smart cards that a ballot marking device uses to authenticate technicians. Attackers can execute arbitrary code with supervisory privileges and then exploit it to spread malware. Attackers can alter the audit logs. Attackers can, with brief access to a single ballot marking device or a single poll worker card and PIN, can obtain the county-wide cryptographic keys, which are used for authentication and to protect election results. Now, remember what I've said for a long time, and a big role Bitcoiners are going to have to play in 2024, is that our understanding of Bitcoin, and I repeat it all the time because it's almost the most important thing. It's why we're at the center of 2024. Bitcoiners understand the trade-offs in these systems because we understand Bitcoin. We understand why Ethereum is a shitcoin. We understand why everything else is a shitcoin because of this trade-off between credibility and convenience. It's the most important thing we understood. It's the foundation of our scaling wars. It's the foundation of the value proposition of Bitcoin itself. It's the historic trend bucking situation about these video games that we began talking about, right? Video games are consumer technology. And so it's cute that Alex Jones did an 8-bit game and not a modern one, right? It's funny. Now, when it comes to money and systems that aren't for consumption, that are for actually organizing our incentive structures and how our brains function on Earth, right? It's got to be credible. Otherwise, you have a shit civilization. And so we've understood that for a long time, these trade-offs. That's why Bitcoin, being the oldest, is the most valuable, is the one that opted for security over convenience and credibility over convenience. So we've understood this trade-off for a long time. And as I've mentioned many times, the trade-offs in voting systems and election integrity are identical. It's not consumer technology. You can't come up with a voting machine, super voting machine, or a voting machine 64, or none of these voting machines are consumer technology. They're not. They have to be the opposite. They have to be like Bitcoin. So we have a huge role coming up in 2024, not in proving the elections were scammed in 2020. We can't. There's no way to do it, but you don't need to. That's the thing, right? As Bitcoiners, we understand that once engineering trade-offs were decided upon, the credibility of the system was lost. Therefore, you don't need to prove it's corrupted. All you need to prove is that anything corruptible is corrupted. That's it. If it's corruptible, it's corrupted. It's a 100% straight line. They are equal, right? If it's corruptible, it's corrupted. Bitcoin, as far as we know, is incorruptible. Therefore, we have confidence that it's doing what we designed it to do, which is the simplest of things: keep a ledger that's public, that we can all read, that's decentralized and distributed, and protected and backed up by proof of work as a system to help the credibility and to protect it against infiltration and attack, right? That's what we came up with. It looks like it's working. If it doesn't work, we have to admit it, but don't come here to look for it. I'm too bought into the idea, so you're going to get tons of narrative bias on my part, right? I would have a massive case of cognitive dissonance if this thing didn't work. So, don't come here for any information if it's breaking, right? But so far, so good. Nothing broke, and I continue to think nothing will break, and I operate under the assumption nothing will break. So our understanding of these systems and our understanding and our ability to explain it is going to be one of the most important things in 2024 for the election. We are going to be a huge, huge, huge reference point. In the same way that we talked about Bitcoin giving feedback to the financial reserve system, Bitcoiners can give feedback to the scammy voting system we have in America. We have to. It's part of our job this time around, right? That's what they're coming to this realization that cryptographic key management, man-in-the-middle attacks, trusted third parties apply directly to this situation, and it's the language we speak.